so I guess we're
Wait, but
both
what is
marks.
butt
You're
love?
just a famous mark.
Hold on.
So you. What? You're demeaning both. You, bro.
Butt love.
Bro.
Welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, seen here only out of Indie Music TV, out of Ronkonkoma, Long Island. So the world is in an uproar because Walter's name has been changed to Gunther.
Stupidest thing ever. Stupidest thing
That
ever.
everybody's upset
And I'm in
about
an
it?
outrage. It's stupid. There was no reason for it. Let's call him Gunther. Shut up, Vince. Every once in a while, someone's going to tell Vince he's lost it. What was the point? Does that look like a Gunther to you? All right, maybe he doesn't look like a Walter either, but for some reason, Walter fit. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I hate it. Now, go ahead. Tell me how Gunther is going to sell lots of T-shirts. Go ahead. I'm waiting.
Before we were having a conversation before the beginning of the show.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you said, could you imagine Bob Backlund back in the day wrestling Gunther? And I go, yes.
No.
Better than Walter.
Not that way. No, that wouldn't.
Walter was such a great name. Walter was so good.
No,
it was such a great name.
It wasn't that. For some reason, in today's wrestling world, Walter works for this man. I can't explain it, but everybody knows what I'm talking about because they all know it because they're all mad. You don't change his name to Gunther.
Well, 802 says that, what do you call it, that Cody had a good crack to say about it in a promo.
See, here we go. Already. It's cannon fodder now.
Oh,
it's
my
terrible.
God.
What? I hope people are agreeing.
Dan Crusader can't wait for Dutch. I know. Look, dude,
okay.
I refuse to get upset because the guy changed his name to Gunther.
What about Gunther and the Pharaoh? There's no reason to change it. It works. Ladies and gentlemen, my partner, Gunther. Get the out of here.
Oh, you gotta,
what the yeah,
you gotta,
of course he's laughing.
Gotta laugh.
That's funny. That's why.
You're getting laughs.
Why would you do that? Why? There's nothing wrong with it. If it was working, leave it the alone.
Okay, what's working to you? Tell me what's working to you.
Walter's gimmick was
NXT's
working.
killing it. It's
not
killing
about
it.
NXT. The guy's a wrestling god in London. NXT
His
an
name is
afterthought.
Walter.
Yeah, so what? That was the whole charm of it.
I'll take
check
Gunther
out my
any
buddy.
day.
Don't you get it? Don't you get it? Don't you remember when my friend Harvey comes by? He'll talk to you guys. Oh, Harvey! Harvey's gonna take a hold of us. I got a cousin bigger than your friend Harvey, you know? That's what Walter was. The name of Walter. Oh, yeah, who's going to get me, Walter? And then this monster walks in.
Oh, is that the gimmick?
Harvey from the Honeymooners.
Oh, well, now I understand. Now
Leave
I got
it
the whole
alone.
gimmick. Now I got the whole gimmick.
Just leave it alone.
I missed it the whole time.
I'm sorry
For
you
the
did.
last 2 years, I missed that entire.
I got it.
That was the punchline.
I got it the second I looked at him. I'm like, this guy's calling himself Walter. He's built like a giant. I thought it was
Very
hilarious.
interesting.
It
Very
worked.
interesting.
Gunther wouldn't have worked. That would have been like Gunther. Click.
Davio
It's
says,
almost like
did you read the
Dewdrop.
article that they are
Dewdrop,
scraping the
bad
name?
name.
First of all, it's a great name.
That's a terrible name, Dewdrop.
You're out of line.
Oh my God.
You're out of line.
She's a beast. Let's call it Dewdrop.
Look, all right, let me tell you something that bothered me.
the
All right,
frick?
so you know I'm such a great
What are
fan.
they smoking over there?
I'm a big fan of
Can I
Bully
have
Ray,
some?
right? Everybody
ahead.
knows how much I love Bully Ray.
Oh, yeah, you and Bully Ray. Oh, yeah, you're like a toilet seat.
You know,
Go
Bully
on.
Ray and LaGreca make a habit of making sure that they just trash NXT before AEW comes on that Thursday. But anyway, they're talking about NXT, and they're bitching about Walter Gunther. But then they go into the fact that NXT's a living joke now because the wrestlers are so green. Now they're calling their spots in the ring.
Yeah.
And you could see it on TV, and it looks really bad.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's a schlock fest. But this is what happens when you got gymnastic move number 1, gymnastic move number 10, gymnastic move number 17A. It's become a spot fest cartwheel marathon.
So
This is what you
so
get.
you agree
In
that
the old
it's
days,
bad.
when they used to lock up and the pace was slower because it was two big dudes. Don't you remember how they would communicate?
Perhaps, yeah.
They'd grab each other, get close, and they'd say something to each other.
A lot of times
but
they
most of the time, you wouldn't even
They
catch
didn't
those
even
camera
have,
angles.
but they didn't even have to say things to each other. They pretty
almost
much had
didn't.
it.
They almost
but
had a dance
so
anyway.
here's my
So what am I
contradicting
agreeing
point.
with?
So you agree, and I get it, and it looks bad, and I'm not going to disagree with it.
it's lame.
So I disagree with you on the Walter thing. I do agree with what you said.
But you think that
But-
there was a good thing?
On the other hand,
This guy.
Bubba, who usually speaks with forked tongue,
Well, and pork
tongue, whatever, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
He claims that WWE has their own training center, which we know,
Yeah, sure,
right?
yeah,
Because they can't trust the poor, and you'll catch Flash Flanagan, who will be on tomorrow. You can't trust the poor wrestling schools that are around today, not like the old schools like the Johnny Rodz school or whatever else, right?
Right.
So
Right.
he says the only credible schools that the WWE looks at is Booker T's school
Fair. That's fair.
and
I would too.
Devon and Bubba Ray's school.
Right, because you're coming
Right.
through the. You're
So I
coming
ask
through
you
the
this,
experts.
Master Pharaoh.
Master Pharaoh.
If these people are training in these such wonderful schools like Bubba Ray claims that are coming out of his school,
Okay.
aren't these the same people that are talking to each other during the ring that you can see?
I wonder. I don't know. I don't know if those particular wrestlers you're speaking of.
No,
were
I'm
trained
telling
by-
you what this fat clown said.
So wait a minute. He was making fun of the guys that he trained.
No, he wasn't making fun of him. He says you're ruining the business. He was all angry
they are
about
ruining
it.
the
Blah 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 blah.
business. It is
But I
terrible.
listened to him day to day
Yeah.
promote his school,
Right.
And that you could. But these
Oh,
wrestlers got to be coming from your school.
I will bet you at least 3 out of 10 are walking out of there and they suck. I'll bet you that, and I bet you Bubba still passes him because he needs the money.
Greg R says Bubba Ray is to wrestling what Rosie O'Donnell is to bikinis. We've made yet another enemy.
Good. Fine.
So recently, remember a little while back, John Arizzi was in here. We had
Who?
Your favorite John. Where's this book, by the way?
I threw it off the desk.
I know you're not a big fan.
I
of
returned
John's.
it to the library.
But John Arizzi was in here.
Well, you got to say goodbye to somebody after you spend 3 days with them. If you don't, I consider you a rude prick. Go ahead.
There you go.
Go
Well,
ahead.
now we know. Well, John, if you're watching, now you know.
How you doing,
why.
bud? That was rude.
So,
Go ahead. It was.
you're right.
It was rude.
I'm not going to argue. You're
And
right.
That's that.
You
know?
did spend 3 days with the guy. He didn't even say goodbye.
Not even a goodbye.
Didn't even say goodbye.
And I know that I used deodorant that weekend, so it's not.
And he
bad.
got free water out
And
of
I
the
brushed
whole
my
gig.
teeth and everything. So
All
it's
right.
not
So
that
anyway.
good.
So I posted on Twitter a link to a video of Arizzi talking about Vince Russo, which is known, I guess, if you're somewhat know anything about the inner workings of behind the scenes
Right.
of this wrestling nonsense.
Right.
And so, Arizzi.
How he infiltrated Arizzi.
To be
and-
fair
and
to
then- and then
Arizzi, he was the godfather of
Sure.
pro wrestling,
Did a
meet
lot
and
of things.
greets, that type of stuff.
Absolutely. I will not deny
And
that for one
Russo ended up getting his little fangs into him
Sure.
and sucking his blood and ended up becoming a millionaire. And obviously, we know the whole story. So I posted I put the video on
Infiltration
Twitter.
folled by
Not a
masturbation. He
big
jerked
deal.
them
I
off.
post a
Right.
lot of videos that we do, a lot of clips from a lot of interviews and anything that we do on the show. So Mike Messier, who has a video he puts on once a week, we allow him on the channel.
AEW
and the keyword
apologist.
is allow. AEW apologist.
Of course.
He should be kissing He writes, when I put that, he said, he responded with, "Oh yeah, John Arizzi, isn't he the guy that helped Steve Austin with his promos and changed the face of wrestling?" Oh, no, that's not him. It was Vince Russo.
Got a point.
So I
have a
responded.
point.
I basically said,
point,
yeah,
Vince.
that's right. You're correct, Mike.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that Vince Russo, and I wrote, John over,
Yes, he did.
took all the money,
Yes, he did.
and, we know how this all ended up.
Yeah, that's no secret.
And, one day karma will get that.
Yeah.
Right? That's all I wrote.
Probably already has, but that's okay.
Nah, he's still alive.
What? Okay. All right. I
Just
see.
call
the way we're
facts
driving.
facts,
I
right?
see how we're driving this truck. Okay, I haven't jumped out.
All right,
Keep
so
going. I'm with you.
Arizzi
Gotcha.
responds back.
Okay.
John
John Arizzi responded very.
Yeah, he
interesting.
responds back.
Okay.
Me and Vince are very close friends now.
Did he say goodbye to me on
No,
that,
he
on
didn't.
that message?
It's a good point. No, he did.
So
No.
I consider his opinion meaningless.
Well, they are friends now. They're friends.
Oh, I'm sure they
Forgiveness.
are. Didn't we just see them at Burger Buddy? Wasn't that them in the corner playing tonsil hockey?
So
I think you got the wrong two guys.
don't make me laugh.
I think that it's just public bullshit. I think that they're best buddies.
Well, whatever the case is, right?
I
It's
just don't want
not.
anybody talking about what happened all those years ago. It's like, oh, stop, let it go, let it go, let it go. Why not? You don't let anything go. Why should we?
He wrote, "There's no hatred between me and Vince, and I none. Years pass, wounds heal.
All right, that's
I
fine.
would consider Vince a friend." And then Vince wrote back, 100% whatever. So Russo responds back to Monte The
You
Pharaoh.
put them together. They're buddies now.
They're friends
Good
now.
job, Mike.
Thank you.
You've done it.
Thank you. Give me
You
credit.
are the olive
But
branch.
Russo responded back.
Did they say thank you?
No, Russo responded
Guys are
back.
rude.
I'm going to tell you what Russo responded.
Okay, what did he have to say for himself?
He put back,
Did he
I
start with
doubt
bro?
John.
Did it start with bro?
No, he did put a bro in there.
Okay, fine.
He goes, I doubt John would feel the same. And to talk about karma, I wouldn't worry about karma, because the day I worry about karma is the day that you're not a mark.
Says the guy who was in the Blockbuster video or whatever video store he had trying to get his mark into the business. Bro, just because you made it, bro, and became successful, bro, doesn't mean that you're no longer a mark for the sport that you obviously butt love, bro.
Butt love?
I butt love it too. Okay, so I guess we're
Wait, but
both
what is
marks.
butt
You're
love?
just a famous mark.
Hold on.
So you. What are you demeaning both? You, bro.
Butt love.
Bro. What was that?
What is butt love?
He butt loves pro wrestling. He was probably humping his VCR
Dude,
tapes
I didn't want-
before he was famous. And he told Arizzi, if you tell on me, I'm going to you over. So Arizzi was probably ready to let that scandalous thing
Wait,
out onto
I want to
into the
understand,
free world.
how does Arizzi forgive him?
I
right?
wouldn't.
Because Russo put in
I'm not a
paper,
nice guy,
Russo
so-
put in his book that Arizzi lived with his mom his whole life and made fun of him.
That's great. I would eternally.
How is that forgivable?
I would eternally want to.
It's in print for the rest of eternal
I would
life.
eternally want to punch you in the face
Thank
over
you.
and over again until I need a new fist. How's that sound? And I'd order one from Michigan and,
I really-
and use the replacement to beat you some more.
I got to ask.
What
I got a friend of ours, Mitch, in the studio. Mitch, real quick, if someone put that in a book for millions of people to see, could you forgive that? Thank you.
That was a hearty no for those of you who did not pick that up on the microphone. Thank you. There it is.
but
from Mitch.
John Arizzi's all forgiven.
He doesn't even say goodbye after 3 days of being nice to you. What the What are you talking about? I hope you choked on that ham bone.
I hope John forgives all the hot dogs that he ate.
And meanwhile, those two idiots are going to go, they're going to get all mad at us. Hey, don't be such a mark. It's a shtick.
Anyway,
Or is it?
this is some upsetting news. Maria,
Or is it?
Maria, this is for you. I've got some sad news, so I want everybody to listen up.
What?
Our friend Hannibal, I've got some
Yeah?
inside news.
He fell and hurt his tum-tum?
No, it's worse than
He
that.
stubbed his toe.
It's worse than that.
He's got, he's got acne.
See, you're not taking my conversation seriously.
Not
right
at
now.
all.
No,
What's
you're
wrong
not.
with Hannibal? We know everything is wrong with him. He
No,
puts the lotion
it's
in the
bad
bed.
news.
What? What do you mean?
Blaze has dumped Hannibal.
Blaze has dumped Hannibal.
You know the girl he keeps making out with on all those videos, the hot chick?
Yeah.
In the shower. You saw that whole video,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
What happened?
She dumped him.
What'd she take off Blood Hunter's mask?
From what?
Saw what was there?
See, I'm in the biz. I'm in the biz.
You've been
I'm a-
chopped by
I'm a-
Rip Rogers?
No, not yet. Not yet.
You're not
No.
in the biz.
No,
so
that's
you've
right.
Been chopped by
By
Rip
Rip Ro-
Rogers.
you're right,
What's
I
wrong
forgot.
with you? Okay, go
But
ahead.
inside information is that Blaze could not handle the hate that Hannibal was getting for hacking up that poor
Really?
old. I'm going to correct myself, fans out there, because I know a lot of people got
He's
angry
not
when
a
I
kid.
called him a kid.
Even though you got a couple of decades.
I know.
on him.
I'm fucking 80 years
There
older
must
than a
be
guy.
something wrong with you for referring to someone 21, 22 years younger than you as a kid.
No,
How
but-
dare you?
So for hacking that man, Blaze could not handle the pressure, and she dumped him.
Nice. I hope that the gimmick was worth it. Way to go there. I mean, I thought he was trying to, blade her down.
Yes, Maria, I'm
intimate
serious.
moments,
Blaze has dumped Hannibal.
Okay, good.
Do you think that?
I heard she might be
See you,
interested.
Jeff.
I heard she might be interested in dating the referee.
Do you
Is
think?
that true?
Do you think? Wait a minute. I want to set the picture. Do you think the problem was probably Blaze was getting all sexy, taking her clothes off, oiling that hot
And then he
body
tried
up?
to gig her?
No, but then she's looking. Where's Hannibal? She gets out the door, and she looks in his room, and there's Hannibal rocking back and forth. Watch my podcast. Watch my podcast. And he's just repeating it to himself.
But next to him is there lotion and a basket.
Yes.
Perfect. That's perfect.
And then Blaze, hold on.
Okay. I'm with you.
in the small apartment Hannibal works out of because that's all he could afford. We all know this.
The picture.
He lives in a 2-room apartment in Canada.
Yes, okay.
But in this apartment, there's this giant hole with a bucket. And there's bones of like dead people. And Blaze saw this, and Blaze ran out of town.
He's the blood hunter.
Blaze blues.
He's,
Blaze blew and blazed.
yeah, she blew out of there through a goose. Yeah. He's a little bit off. He's a little bit off. What's he gonna do now? What's his next thing? He's got to do something to get some attention. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna rock back and forth.
Do you think he's crying at night? Blaze,
Maybe they should show
Blaze.
they should show the deep hole in his room. People would be.
Do you think he has
interested.
his
That would
like
get a lot of views?
Maria? He probably has that cup that you bought from him of him and Blaze.
What?
Maria
Maria
told
bought
me
it?
she bought a cup from Hannibal of
Yeah?
of Blaze and Hannibal. No, Blood Hunter. I'm sorry.
Blood
Don't piss Hannibal off.
Yeah, it's Blood Hunter.
It's Blood
Wait
Hunter.
a minute, he's not the Blood Hunter. We don't know who the Blood Hunter is.
Well, whatever.
Don't kill the gimmick.
Do you think Hannibal sits there with his Blaze and a Blood Hunter cup just rocking back and forth?
How do we know he didn't have the mask on during intimate times? Maybe she was like, take the mask off, weirdo. We don't know. It's very possible. And
Come
then
here,
he's looking at her,
Blaze.
he's
Have
like,
sex with
yeah,
Blood
like,
Hunter.
he throws the mask on. He goes, I'm going to put the lotion in the basket. I'd be like, get me the out of here. Oh, my God.
802 says he owes her for a dress he ruined with blood.
Probably. Are these your...
Chris Lee says
Never mind, I
Abdul.
can't. That's
Chris Lee says Abdullah's in the hole.
yelling up to us. Where's my check? I just want my
Very
check.
funny, very
Come
funny,
on.
very funny.
That's unbelievable.
So Hannibal, listen, guys, please say prayers for Hannibal. We feel terrible
Yeah.
that Blaze has dumped him and hurt him. And wait a minute, AAA says Hannibal is known as the Liberace of Canadian wrestling.
You know what I think we should pray for?
Go ahead.
Guys, I want you to put your hands together in a deep moment of prayer. Please pray for all these idiots who actually made it in this business and are the biggest jack on the planet. Let's.
Amen.
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 Yeah.
Amen.
Peace, pot, and microdot. Amen.
All right, let's hit it, bro. Top 10 greatest matches. So we're going to open up with your number 10. So 10 being...
My number 10?
10 being the 10.
Yeah.
1 being the 1.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right.
What do you got?
Okay, what do I got? I have to look over here, folks, because I'm blind.
Yeah, I'm going to turn
I'm
this
gonna
a
go.
little
I'm
bit.
gonna go at number 10. The Omega Okada, Kenny Omega, and of course Okada from New Japan. Their trilogy. I'd like to go with the second match, most likely. They had a trilogy of matches that. Now, some of the matches on this list will be entertainment first, or spectacle, if you will, and other matches will just be for the sport itself. This, in my opinion, is probably the greatest sport approach towards a match you could ever have. These guys went for 3 matches. They absolutely murdered each other, and it wasn't a cartwheel fest. It was very, very physical, and they really went at it. I've never seen anything like this. By the time the trilogy was done, I felt like I had watched basically the Star Wars trilogy. I was amazed by it.
At my number 10, I just put Flair Steamboat Trilogy only because...
Probably for similar reasons in some way.
Well, only
A
because,
wrestling
you know
clinic.
what, God forbid I didn't mention it.
Is that why you put it
Yes,
on?
because
Wait-
people go,
wait a
ah,
sec.
didn't he mention Flair Steamboat?
So your number 10 is just a token pick? What
Yeah.
the fuck is
It
this?
is, 'cause
This
I have to.
I sit there all day and worry about whether or not my picks are going to be worthy of picking, and you're doing a token pick?
I had to.
That's rough.
Sorry,
man.
guys.
You know what? For all you marks out there, he appeased you. Now shut the fuck up.
So my number 9 is
get
Bret
it.
Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, the submission match, WrestleMania 13. The reason I picked that as number 9 is because what it did for the industry, right? That was the entrance way into the Attitude Era
Right.
and the growth of Steve Austin.
Absolutely.
The ending was epic from the point from him passing out from the blood.
That drove his bad home.
Absolutely.
He's not a bad until that happens. When that happened, he had the bad. My number 9 is Warrior Hogan. I obviously believe it belongs in the top 10. I'm not talking about quality of match or flip-flop fest or whatever the hell skills you're looking for. This was a spectacle. This was the 2 biggest stars in the business. Warrior's star shone as brightly as anybody's star has ever shown in this business. And
Chris Lee says Mike Monty versus Marty Jannetty in studio.
Yeah, didn't I do a running?
You did a
during
running.
that. I did a running during that. Yeah,
It's in the top 20.
That was it's better than the I see on TV now. I got to ram this one home. When I was the only one in the room going, this is not the changing of the guard. And everybody was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, Hulk Hogan is still pro wrestling. I'm sorry, and it turned out to be right because Warrior's moment was then. Warrior's moment faded. Hogan went on to the NWO. We all know what Hogan continued to do. So I was the only one in the room, kind of like historically going, "Okay, something major just happened. Two legends. They're obviously both going to be legends." But I'm like, "But this is Hogan's business."
It was one of the first
I was like,
matches
this
of its
is a-
kind.
Warrior's
It's a really good pick by you because it is one of the
That was
face
huge.
versus face matches that
was
really had,
huge.
you know.
That was huge.
All right, so you're number 8.
Now can I say it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It was the match between Undertaker and Mankind where I swore to God that Mankind was dead. I mean, he throws him off the cell. He throws him through the cell. It's like
Singer says both great matches.
I mean,
Great.
the tooth coming out of there's a tooth coming out of Mankind's nose. I mean, it was just the most insane thing I've ever seen, and obviously it upped the ante, and everybody wanted to try killing themselves after that.
All right, so my number 8 is Mankind versus The Rock, WWE Championship, I Quit match, Royal Rumble 1999.
Did I ever tell you how Mankind yelled at me over this? Over
No.
this match?
Go ahead.
I was lucky enough. I don't know why, but Mick Foley, and this was during the Attitude Era. He had just put out "Have a Nice Day," the book that was fabulous, by the way, and he was making an appearance at the library, right down the block from where I lived. And I thought to myself, I don't think anybody even realizes that Mick Foley's going to be at my library. So I went there, and he talked for like an hour, and there must have been maybe 10 of us. 10 of us. This is during the Attitude Era. You would think that this would have been chaos. But there he was. I had an ECW shirt on and everything. And he was really cool. It was great to listen to him. But I went up to him after, and I had not read the book yet. I had just bought it, so I wanted him to sign it. And I went up with the book, and I didn't know what was in the book yet. And I said to him, I'm telling you, the craziest thing I've ever seen you do, I said, believe it or not, wasn't when you got thrown off the cage. I said it was that match with The Rock when he kept hitting you with the chair. Because I was literally standing there going, please stop hitting him. So I said this to Mick. I was like, that was insane. And Mick apparently in the book mentioned that match almost ended everything because his family was crying. His kids were crying. He said, I promised to them I'll never do this again. He was hit with that chair. How many times?
I will tell you
know?
this,
So
right?
Mick was actually
My
mad at me
wife
for
who is
bringing it
my
up.
wife who is not a wrestling
I was like, I'm
fan,
sorry.
right? But
Yeah.
you know, wrestling was hot that
was
time,
so
so she would
brutal.
sit and watch pay-per-views with me.
Yeah.
This is how important this match was, or how great it was.
Yeah.
My wife says to me, "Please turn this off."
She couldn't take the violence.
She could not take
I tell
the
you.
violence.
I tell you.
So forget all these blood matches.
It was ridiculous.
All these barbed wire bull. That match
The
was
headaches are
unbelievable.
eternal. Yeah. I mean, if for
All right.
someone who loves Rob Zombie's Halloween, yeah, it was too much.
Number 7
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
It could easily be my number 1.
Okay.
The War to Settle the Score, Madison Square Garden, February 18th, 1985.
So great.
It was the spark that lit, and I've discussed this before.
Yeah.
I was there live.
Yeah.
I still could watch that match to this day.
I got goosebumps.
I get goosebumps.
I got them now.
Again, if anyone hasn't seen that match, the way Hogan and Piper, they're in each other's corner. You got to remember, back then, too, it was like they're going to have this match, and Piper won't have the match unless Hogan puts the belt up. The WWF doesn't want Hogan to put the belt up against Piper because they're afraid Piper's going to beat the whole storyline. But when they're finally going to have it, you could feel this eruption of these two wrestlers.
Oh, my God.
And believe me, neither one was the greatest wrestler of all time.
Doesn't matter.
But boy, oh boy,
Yeah.
what a
Yeah,
match.
yeah. Superstars.
You got number 7?
Nothing like it. As you blink off my screen. Number 7 for me is not a match, but it is a match. I'm going to go with the 92 Royal Rumble. Ric Flair winning the 92 Royal Rumble. That is the greatest Royal Rumble in the history of it. And by the way, the Royal Rumble is my favorite event. I love it the most. This is just the greatest Royal Rumble in the history of this business. And what Ric Flair, I think he came in at the number 3 spot, survived the whole hour. And on top of it, not only was Flair's performance legendary, but even more legendary was the great Bobby the Brain Heenan on commentary. If you've never watched this match, go back, watch the 92 Royal Rumble, and listen to Bobby Heenan, and you will piss yourself.
Number 5, you got.
Number 5? Number 5. I'm going to go with from Wembley Stadium. I believe that was a SummerSlam. Bret Hart
Great match.
And the
Great
British
match.
Bulldog. Honestly, to me, that's where Bret Hart became a star. I know it was Bulldog's country and moment, but that's when Bret Hart really became a star in my mind. What a clinic that was. That was just magic. You don't see too much of that
Dude, when
anymore.
Bulldog won that title, when the Intercontinental title meant something,
right?
It's a great pick, dude.
Yeah.
It's not on my list, but it's hard to argue that pick.
It's two tacticians at their best.
I've got number 6. To me, it's probably one of the most important wrestling matches in history of wrestling. Is Kerry Von Erich winning the NWA title from
Boy, do you love Kerry
Ric
Von Erich.
Flair in
Why?
May of '84.
I just got to ask, what makes you put this in the top 10 greatest matches of all? Is it more just a personal thing for you?
Well, it's a personal, but it's also David Von Erich had passed away.
Right.
It was that
Right.
David was the heir apparent.
David was supposedly.
Kerry
right.
to me was always the bigger star, but
Yes.
a lot of people disagree.
David, you know what? If they disagree with that, they're rewriting history. Okay, because David was on his way, and when he passed away, he was the biggest member of the Von Erich
Right.
family. But he passed away.
Right.
Kerry did become the biggest star in the family. Regardless, he did. Kerry was a bigger star at the end of the day, but that's only because David's life was cut short. It's not a knock.
Right.
It's a fact.
It's a fact, yeah.
That's all there is to it.
All right, number 5, I'm going with WrestleMania 1, Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Orndorff and Piper. This has got to be on everybody's list because this is what changed wrestling, at least in my opinion. Not the greatest match of all time,
It's the beginning.
but it's a start. What do you got?
It's definitely a start. I'm going to go with Austin and Rock from probably the greatest WrestleMania of them all, WrestleMania 17. I mean, I loved all the Austin and Rock matches, but this, of course, was when Stone Cold suddenly found himself buddying up with the evil Mr. McMahon.
Yeah.
I found this to be pretty damn legendary, pretty damn amazing, and very, very, very memorable. And it involves the two biggest stars of the Attitude Era.
Number 4, you've got.
You've got. Looks like I got.
We
Hart
got a
and
little.
Austin.
We got a little matchup there.
Yeah.
Finally, we've
Yeah,
met
I got
minds
Hart
here.
and Austin from WrestleMania. I think that's 13. If I'm not
And then number 4, I've got Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage.
That's WrestleMania 5.
That is WrestleMania 5.
Damn, was that to me that was the greatest storyline we've ever seen. That's just my opinion. But the storyline between Hogan and Savage and the jealousy and the Elizabeth thing and everything like that and how long it played out and
Now, my number 3 is Mankind versus The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell. So we've met our way here.
Yeah, we've got a couple there.
And here
correlate,
you go. At number
simulate.
3, you've got
Where am I? What is that? That's small. I can't see that.
Steamboat Flair.
Oh, you know what?
You even disrespect them when you type it out. You put that like
Hard
It's
for me,
like
brother.
Hogan versus that. It's Steamboat versus Flair. Get these little. You should see this, folks. It's like these tiny little words.
I can't make that out. Steamboat Flair was freaking fantastic. Quit picking on those.
So we both chose at number 2 Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25.
How can you not love this deal? Both matches.
Storyline.
Both matches were absolutely incredible. I think they had back-to-back and belly-to-bellies, but man, oh man.
Back to back and belly
Yeah,
to belly.
I had to do a little John Sterling there. Just unbelievable. I mean, they couldn't have been more great together, and they couldn't have been more different in their styles, and that their styles came together like bacon and eggs. Man, that's a good breakfast. What a great freaking match.
All right, so the all-time number 1, drum roll please. Hit it.
Oh, it's so obvious. The greatest spectacle that ever happened, the thing that introduced the world to wrestling on a mass scale, on a mass public scale, was Hogan and Andre. WrestleMania 3 in front of 93,000 people. It wasn't 93,000. I don't want to effing hear it, okay? It was in a giant stadium with a kabillion people on a pay-per-view. We had never seen anything like this before. Hollywood, the bright lights, the spectacle, the merchandising, the ratings, everything. Hogan, Andre, period. I don't care about your cartwheels. I don't care about your fancy arm bars or your wrist locks or your head. Hogan, Andre.